Welcome back to The Adventures with the members of the Florida Powerboat Club. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio, and we have got a new adventure which is going to be more aviation related, but we're heading off to the Bahamas. It is not a scheduled Florida Powerboat Club event. It is a private tour on an aircraft, an amphibious aircraft that is, with some of our best friends flying from Fort Lauderdale to Harbour Island in the Bahamas, and we are out to explore this new island. Never been there, but guys, I gotta tell you, it was a fantastic trip. This episode is brought to you by Tropic Ocean Airways in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who operate exclusively a line of Cessna Caravan seaplanes, which provide service throughout South Florida, including the Florida Keys, but their big specialty is the Bahamas, and that's why we're flying with Tropic Ocean Airways, heading out to Harbour Island, Bahamas in Eleuthera. Guys, this is an exciting trip, and we're about to invite you along for the ride. And just to give you a reference point, it is early April. In fact, it's April the 2nd. There's going to be 8 of us flying on board this Cessna Caravan seaplane. It's a total seating of 10. Then we have, of course, the pilot and the co-pilot. In the left seat, of course, this is Ricardo Santos, one of the longtime pilots here with Tropic Ocean Airways, and just so happens that his co-pilot, who's about to join us, is his son Lucas. Between the two of them, they fly a lot of flights together here out of Fort Lauderdale for Tropic Ocean Airways. So we're just taxiing right now. I had a chance to jump on board and just kind of get a feel for the aircraft. I'd never been on a float plane of this size for quite some time. I remember flying in Key West years ago on a Cessna Caravan to the Dry Tortugas. But this company, Tropic Ocean Airways, has now been flying for about 12 or 13 years. And they started doing service with some smaller aircraft way back then, doing flights over to Bimini. And I think what separates Tropic Ocean Airways from all the other airlines is that they really have no limitations because they can land anywhere in the water. There's our crew riding on board. That's Ken and Laura Wolkins, and that is Byron and Christy Storms, who came in from California, Ken and Laura from Florida. My good friends Tony and Mona Mondazzi are going to be riding along as well. They're from Parkland, Florida, have been involved with Florida Powerboat Club for many, many years. There's the group as we get ready to fly. Of course, I'm joined by my first mate, Jackie Jones, and we're all getting on board, and for many of us, it's very exciting. A lot of us, it's the very first time in a seaplane as we head out to Harbour Island. Extremely loud here at the airport right now, so we're just going to let the natural audio fade down, and I'm going to tell you the story about how we got this group together. I really just got this whole program worked out with Tropic Ocean Airways after they had contacted me saying that they wanted to seek a partnership with Florida Powerboat Club and with a lot of marine related companies that are going to the Bahamas, often by boat. And they wanted to be able to provide a support system for transportation for other passengers that maybe didn't want to take the boat or, couldn't make the schedule to get on the boat to head over to the island. So this is going to be one of the new services that they offer. That would be regular service to Harbour Island. But what we're doing today is a charter. Okay, so it's a private charter with 8 passengers, and in order to do that, you really have to work with their charter specialist, Giovanni. And essentially what we did was establish all of the passenger weights and come up with some luggage weight limitations. That way the pilots can do their fuel and balance loads calculations, which are important so we can fly safely. And we are taxiing now on the runway, getting ready to take off. Let's say hi to our crew. Okay, so got my buddy Byron here, just flew in from Texas with his wife, and they're going to join us today.
California.
California?
I wish I was from Texas.
I thought you flew from Dallas.
Well, from California.
Oh, so you started really early.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? He started at 5 a.m. this morning?
I landed at 5 a.m.
You landed here at 5 a.m.
9 p.m. yesterday.
Okay, so we're going to be looking for those red eyes here shortly.
Yeah.
In about a half hour, maybe another hour, first drink. It's going to have to be looking for some red eyes. But well,
I get furthest travel the more red.
That's right. Good for and in the back, of course, his wife Christy, Ann, and then Jackie, and then Tony and Mona, the regulars. So the FPC clan riding up left seat, Laura, and her running mate Ken over here. Lucas on the right, Ricardo and Lucas. Our Brazilian pilot team are going to be getting us in the air today on this Tropic Ocean Airways Cessna Caravan, which is, as you can see, maxed out. It's a 10-seat plane. We've got 2 up front at the controls. We've got 8 riding on board. We're right full, and even we took a lighter fuel load just so we could have a good flight today. We're going to go straight to Harbour Island. So, getting ready for a fun weekend, or a fun week that is, with our friends from Florida Powerboat Club, visiting Harbour Island in the Bahamas with Tropic Ocean Airways. Let's go. Well, we've got a couple of GoPros mounted inside and outside the aircraft. This one on the wing facing aft, and I think we've got another one on the window. But really what we're going to do is just give you an idea of what it's like to take off in this Cessna aircraft. You know, everyone's got a window seat, and the windows are big, so this really is a sightseeing trip for all of us. Remember, we're going to be over the Bahamas here real soon. And I think that's what makes it exciting for everybody to be able to, see what's going on and get the real feeling of what it's like to fly in this aircraft. And I'm going to get into the technical aspects of cruising speed and weight and balance and all that, because I think some of you like to know and understand what calculations have to be made so that you can make a safe flight. Our destination today is going to be 226 miles here in this Cessna Caravan. We cruise at about 160 knots, and the normal cruising speed of a Cessna Caravan equipped without the floats is about 20 knots faster. But there's really nothing that compares in performance when it comes to seaplanes. This Cessna Caravan is about the fastest kind of amphibious aircraft you can get. And here is our camera going bye-bye. Yes, indeed. The GoPro has succumbed to the speeds of 160 knots and has turned itself up for a perfect view of that wing, which is where it's going to stay for the next 226 miles. So let's rely on these window cameras, because we are going to get some great shots as we get up over the Gulf Stream and, of course, the Bahamas. And looking across, you'll see probably Harbour Town here in a minute, in Dania, and of course we've got a whole bunch of mega yacht shipyards, which is the backdrop of Fort Lauderdale. You can see they're all very active, and this, of course, being the backbone of our marine economy here in Fort Lauderdale. Look at all the yachts and shipyards. There's Harbour Town right there, a place where we use quite often to park and store our trucks and trailers when we go off on poker runs with the Florida Powerboat Club. So talking a little bit more about Tropic Ocean Airways, in that they have flown quite often down to the Florida Keys, but really the Bahamas, I think, is going to be their strong suit and has been for a number of years. Any of us who have gone to Bimini, especially Resorts World Bimini, has seen the seaplanes coming and going frequently throughout the day. And they are up to as many as 5, 6, or sometimes 7 scheduled flights from Fort Lauderdale or from Miami over to Bimini. And that's going to be their number one destination. But they want to expand, and they are currently expanding to some of the further or more what we call out islands. And that's kind of where we're going with this whole trip and with this show. Harbour Island is part of the Eleuthera Islands, and it's considered to be the out islands. And while there are airports in that general area, they are kind of hard to service. And what we're doing here with this private charter is going to be landing right in Harbour Island and literally getting in a taxi boat and going straight to the dock and straight to our destination, which really makes it a very, not only exciting, but really an efficient way to travel to the Bahamas. They're going to be offering service to other islands. They told me that the northern family of islands, including the Abacos, and one of the destinations that's very popular for us with the club now is Hopetown at Elbow Key. And a little more on that later in the show. But as we look down, there's the money shot, guys. We're passing over the Berry Islands right now. Actually, the northern end of the Berries right now. And you can see some of these little settlements and communities and the beautiful beaches. And this is a scenery you're going to get on a flight where we're, really averaging about 9,000 to 10,000 feet. And that's really what's beautiful about these flights, is the vast amount of scenery that you're going to see. We're now coming in now, making the turn as we start to head south, and we're looking over now at Spanish Wells, and those of us who have done trips with the club before know that Spanish Wells is a regular destination for us when we're based out of Atlantis. So we're really in that same proximity of, let's call it 50 miles away from Paradise Island. Now we're just catching the edge of Eleuthera, so of course this is going to be the biggest island in the area. We're going over the edge of Eleuthera, so we're just on the doorstep now of Harbour Island. And Harbour Island, as well as probably 3 or 4 other islands, are kind of like the barrier islands to the east of Eleuthera Island. So what they do is really provide protection, from the ocean to some extent, and then on the lee side, or the calm water side of Harbour Island, that's where all the marinas are. So here now is our first sighting of Harbour Island. I like how the pilot brought us down nice and low for a scenic ride. He could have came straight to the landing zone, but no, he brought us all the way around the island. So we're approaching the island now from the north and going down what would be the eastern shoreline, and you can see those beautiful beaches. I think that's going to be one of the first things we noticed about Harbour Island, that they have some of the most beautiful beaches in the Bahamas, but what's really different about them is the pink sand, and there's a reason for that. And I looked it up, and it has something to do with the makeup of the sand and the little miniature creatures that are in that sand. They have a pink hue to them, their shells, so that's where the pinkness comes from. And so here we are, you're looking at some of these beautiful beaches. Now it's about a 3.5 mile long island, so we've already made it to the southern tip, and we're circling back around the southern tip of the island, and now we're going to get a nice flight up on this, what we call the lee side, or the protected side of the island. That's where the 3 major marinas are, which we're all about to see shortly. And you can see just the beautiful color of the waters as we approach. Again, flying in this Tropic Ocean Airways seaplane really gives everybody an incredible vantage point to really see and experience the beauty of the Bahamas. Oh, looking for those red eyes. Are they red yet? They're going to be red real soon. And just glancing over now out of the right side of the aircraft, there's the Island Marina. We're going to have a chance to visit that later in our trip. Then that is the Remora Yacht Club, our marina and resort. They're in the center. And then just over here to the left, now there she is. That's Valentines Marina, where we're going to be staying. You see some big yachts over there on the right side. Those are part of the Ocean Alexander East Coast Rendezvous, an annual event. And that's what got this trip all started back several weeks earlier, when Mark and Eileen invited us to attend. And then right around that time is when Tropic Ocean Airways reached out to me. So this really is one of those trips that just came together so beautifully. We couldn't have had better conditions for this flight today. And now the exciting part is going to be watching Ricardo and Lucas land this big seaplane right here in the harbor waters. All right, everybody, let's give it up for our crew here. Right. Hi, guys. Good job. And, of course, we added some of those sound effects for dramatic appeal, but really, it wasn't very violent, guys. It was a nice, easy, soft landing. They did a great job of getting us there, and within about 10 minutes, we had a water taxi come over from the town dock. That's actually the town dock off in the distance. You can see the pink building. That's Customs and Immigration. So that's about how close we got. We could have got a lot closer, I'm sure, but it's just like being on a boat, because the guys just literally threw an anchor out. They had a little fortress anchor, and they threw out the anchor to anchor the aircraft, and we all just one by one shimmied out onto the pontoons. and these gentlemen in the taxi boat helped us all get loaded safely, and that was it. Our pilot joined us on the taxi boat over to the dock so that he could get us cleared, but unlike clearing in a boat where we all have to fill out our paperwork and go in and do that whole customs and immigration thing, most of this paperwork had already been done by the charter specialist at Tropic Ocean Airways. So there was really very little to do, and there was no fees to pay because they had all of our money ahead of time, and they just took care of it. All I had to do was walk into the customs terminal while everybody else got loaded on these golf carts. And I handed him our passports, and we waited about 2 minutes. He stamped everything, and here we are. We're on our way. We're going to go find us a nice place for lunch, and I believe it was the Queen Conch that was highly recommended to us by Captain Tony from Eileen's Way, the Fisher's Ocean Alexander yacht, and he and the crew got us quickly off to this cute little restaurant. And we really went from the aircraft to the golf cart in a matter of 10 minutes, and we were immediately getting a beautiful scenic tour of this Harbour Island. And I'm glad that we got a lot of video to share with you and document this trip. So let's just enjoy the scenery as we head off to our lunch spot. And looks like we made it to the Queen Conch. It was only a 5 or 10 minute golf cart ride. Remember, this is a small island, only about 3.5 miles long, about 1 mile to 1.5 miles wide at its widest part. And what you're looking at here is, pretty much what you're going to be seeing throughout the island. A lot of colorful buildings and, a lot of that colonial architecture, which was really the result of their ties with the British Commonwealth. And most of these islands were founded in the early 1700s. And here we are now in the town of Dunmore. And Dunmore got its name actually from a lord or an admiral from the United Kingdom who was actually the governor of the Bahamas from 82 to 1794, something like that. So he was the Earl of Dunmore back in the UK, and therefore the name Dunmore Town has stood the test of time for over 200 years. And our final destination, at least for 2 of the 4 couples, Jackie and myself and Tony and Mona are going to be staying here at Valentines Marina. This is a very popular marina and is very central to the village. You can pretty much walk everywhere, but of course we all get golf carts so we can cruise around. The other 2 couples had found their own lodging around the island. I think that Ken and Laura decided to stay at Remora Bay Club, and Byron and Christy got themselves a cozy little villa over on the east side of the island, which they said was fantastic. So as we walk the dock to catch up with Mark and Eileen Fischer, notice that there's a lot of empty slips. That is simply because all of the yachts that are coming in for the rendezvous have not yet arrived, but they will be over the next couple of days. And by Thursday, we're going to have a full marina. So we connected with our hosts, Mark and Eileen Fischer, their nephew, Brian. There's Tony and Mona. So we've got a group assembled. Time to get out for dinner. So we jumped on the golf carts and found a beautiful restaurant at the Pink Sands. Like many restaurants here on Harbour Island, absolutely beautiful. They have wonderful food. They're hard to get into, so you got to make your reservations several weeks in advance. This is a busy little island, and with all the boaters from the United States and visitors from all over the world, it is really a popular spot, and you got to get your reservations in. The dining is superb everywhere we went. And back at Valentines Resort Marina, as the night fell, we had a chance to take some nice pictures of some of these magnificent yachts. Of course, this is a brand new model from Ocean Alexander. Here's Mark and Eileen's 120-foot 37L model, and right beside that is their tender. It's a 43 Blackwater with 4 Mercury 400 V10s. It's only day 1, and what an adventure it's been. And for the next day, we really just wanted to get out and do some sightseeing on the golf carts. And that was pretty easy to do. You can go in almost any direction and find some cool stuff to see. But our goal was to go back to the Pink Sands where we had visited on the previous evening, because they had this beautiful beach bar that we wanted to visit. So that was our plan for today. We don't use any maps. We just kind of drive around aimlessly until we find our destination. So we found the Pink Sands again, this time in the daylight, so we're going to get a chance to see more of it. We got over here to the Blue Bar and had a few drinks and just kind of hung out here. Got a few snapshots here with the iPhone. There's Tony and Mona from Parkland. It was just a little bit windy today, and we wanted to get our other friends over to join us. So we're going to put this on hold and come back the following day and really enjoy the Pink Sand Beach here in Harbour Island. Okay, now we're rolling into, I think that's day 3 here at Valentines, and quite a few more yachts had come in the last 24 hours, and it looks like this Ocean Alexander rendezvous is starting to take shape here with boats that range from about 80 foot up to about 120. And for those of us who do a lot of boating, first question you'll ask is, it seems like it's a little bumpy and choppy here at Valentines for a marina that's supposed to be protected. Well, guys, it's extremely windy, which really kicked things up. But we weren't really going boating today, so it didn't matter. We got back on the golf carts and are going to take another tour. This time, I'm going to head south on Harbour Island and try to find a few other destinations. Wanted to go by and see that Remora Bay Club. So really just a little more sightseeing and a little recon, because that's really what this trip amounted to for me, to help us discover and explore this destination as a potential Florida Powerboat Club destination in the future. Well, we've been here for 2 days now, and we decided that today was going to be our cruising day. We're going to cruise around the island and do a little sightseeing. So I think we've come to the end of the road here where we're going to have to take a little detour. This is kind of cool. Check this out. A lot of great sights and a lot of places to stop for souvenirs or drinks or a snack, whatever. But we just kept on going. We wanted to get to Remora Bay Club. This is a place that's been here for many, many years. I've heard a lot about it, and I really wanted to see it. And this is where Ken and Laura Wilkins are staying. They said they really liked it. Right now, this entire resort, which is huge, by the way, it's a massive resort built on just a giant hill. Most of the big buildings are up on top of the hill. They're looking down over this nicely, landscaped grounds, and then of course the marina, and a lot of buildings down by the marina, which are villas, as well as they've got a spa facility down here and another restaurant. There's the pool. Now this entire facility right now is for sale on Sotheby's, and for $18 million. That's the full place, like the entire resort, all the grounds, the entire marina, the restaurants. There's 2 restaurants on site. Aquapazza is the Italian restaurant up on the top of the hill where we had dinner on the previous evening, and that was a wonderful experience for everybody. And the big hit there is, of course, the sunset, because remember, you're looking west when you're looking out over the harbor waters. But back to the resort, $18 million. It's for sale right now if anybody wants to buy it. Certainly is an ideal destination for anybody that's cruising through these local Bahamas waters. Really, any size boat. It's a fairly protected marina. A little bit bumpy today from those west winds, and I said northwest winds earlier. It's actually southwest winds that are creating this chop. Okay, got to keep moving. Now we thought we'd check out the Coral Sands. I think we just saw their sign there. So this is another resort that's fairly popular. They have beautiful villas and hotel rooms and a restaurant and a nice beach bar. So we thought we would go to the Coral Sands and try it out. So we just kind of wandered in through the front gate. Didn't look like there was, much going on there at the time, and I think all agreed that we wanted to go back to the Blue Bar again, and this time maybe stay a little longer and get down on the beach. But before we did that, we took another trip, but this time we decided to go to the north end of the island. The club, Vicum Club, they call it. Pretty wild-looking place. Apparently, word has it, a lot of celebs like to go there. I was told that Mick Jagger spotting there at the Vicum Club recently. Apparently, he has a home here on Harbour Island, as do a lot of celebrities, a lot of rock stars, a lot of dignitaries, and a lot of entrepreneurs, wealthy entrepreneurs are here. So yeah, we decided to go on this little road trip to the north end of the island, which began with a nicely paved road that you're looking at here. But then all of a sudden it kind of gave way to more of a bumpy, rough terrain, narrower, and this is it here. This is almost like a laneway, but it is an actual Harbour Island road, and it accesses some of these wealthy estate homes here on the north end of the island. We got up here to this estate home, and we do believe that, I could be wrong, but this could be Bill Gates' home. And the only reason I say that is I know he owns a huge compound at the north end of the island, and we flew over it in the seaplane when we arrived. And it had that kind of same architecture with the white pillars and the white fences. So I do believe that may have been his home. Well, the next item on the agenda was we had to find an access point to the beach. Because none of us at this point had really had a chance to walk on the beach, and it was a nice day at this point. And remember, we're on the ocean side, was actually the lee side, so it wasn't as windy on the ocean side. And we thought we would just find a beach access point, which is what we're doing right now, riding down this little road. Found a place to park the golf carts and throw off the flip-flops and wander down this beautiful sandy pathway down to the beach. And you can see just how beautiful it is as you get closer and closer, and just these breathtaking views once you get to the entire beach. Look how big the beach is, first of all, and you can see the pink sand, the color of the sand. It's pretty much like that throughout the entire 3 miles of beach from the north end to the south end of the island. But there's a lot of activity on the beach. There weren't really any concessions here, not really any bars or restaurants, but just a lot of people out walking and enjoying the surf, getting their feet wet. The surf was a little chilly. Didn't see a lot of people out swimming, but it's April, it's early April, so the surf temperature is still in the low 70s or mid 70s. Jackie got her feet wet. Well, you don't have to love a beach to love this particular beach, and so we just made it a quick stop. Of course, you see the horses in the background. That's a popular thing to do here. You can just ride the horses just at walking pace, no galloping or anything like that, up and down the beach, and that seems to be a popular attraction here. Back on the golf carts, decided to head now over to the other side of the island, the east side of the island, because the tide had gone out, and when the tide goes out, on this, north end of the island on the east side, it's very shallow. There's a huge sandbar there, and the locals, a lot of them just leave their boats on anchor here. So when the tide does go out, it leaves a lot of the boats just basically sitting there on their own bottom with hundreds and hundreds of feet before there's any usable water. So obviously they're not going anywhere. You see here, and you can walk out on this sandbar, and it's just a beautiful sight to see. And so we kind of hung out here for a little bit and got some pictures, and looking off in the distance now, you're looking to the west over towards the island of Eleuthera. Well, we have checked off a lot of boxes today, guys. We did some sightseeing. We got to the south side of the island, the north side of the island. We did the Pink Sands Beach. We did the harbor side with the tide out. Now we're getting kind of hungry, and it's time to find the Pink Sands again, because we still want to go back to Blue Bar, because we had drinks there the day earlier, but we hadn't really had lunch there. So we got our bearings and headed the golf carts towards the ocean side of the island again. And here we are now entering the Pink Sands property. And here's that little pathway that leads through these lavish grounds, and you just keep driving on this pathway until it doesn't go any further, and boom, there you're at the Blue Bar. And that's where we wanted to go today, and this is where we're going to meet all our friends. We've arrived at the Blue Bar and Kitchen at the Pink Sands Resort. Second time here now, but this time I'm going to stay a little longer. It's not just about the bar and the food. They've got beautiful grounds here, a nice pool. It's about a minute or two walk down to the beach, and they really have everything you want here. And of course, it's part of the Pink Sands Resort, so you can actually stay here, get a villa here or a room or a little cottage, whatever. And I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking for a one-stop destination. And one of the observations I made was that most of these resorts that we visited, they weren't exclusive in any way. In other words, you didn't have to have a special pass or prove that you were a guest or have a wristband. It was basically, hey, we're open for business. If you're here on this island, you're good enough for us. And we really liked that because that gave us a lot of, different places that we could visit. And we never really, had to do anything special to make arrangements. Like I said earlier, though, if you want to have dinner at a certain restaurant, there's a handful of restaurants that are very desirable. But if you have a big group, like we often do with 8 to 10 people, that's when you need to be booking like weeks in advance. But if you're just a couple, you could pretty much slide in anywhere and you're going to be good to go. And there are so many restaurants on this island. You can never visit all of them. There's just so many. Well, guys, we really enjoyed our visit here to the Blue Bar and Kitchen at the Pink Sands. And I know that there were a lot of other places that we could have visited, but we just so happened to like that one, and it worked out well for us. So we're going to wrap up that visit now and get back out on the golf carts and start heading back towards the yachts at Valentines Marina. After a while, we got to figure out which were the best little roadways to drive the golf carts on where we had a lot of scenery. You'll notice I'm driving on the right side of the road. I got pulled over for that. Yes, indeed, you have to drive on the left. I was, I guess, not paying attention for a couple of minutes. Just so happens a cop car was behind us, and yes, he did pull me over, but he was super nice. I assured him that I had just been scolded by my wife, and I didn't need any more scolding, and he said, okay, I get it. And so we didn't have any issues after that. A lot of color everywhere you look, just really a colorful village and very friendly people everywhere we went. This is kind of my favorite little drive every day. Whenever we could drive along this waterfront road, this is close to where the town docks are as well. And whenever we got along this little strip of roadway, it was really nice and very pleasant. And of course, the locals are extremely friendly. They really obviously live for this tourism-driven, economy that they have here. Most of them are employed at the resorts and the marinas and the restaurants and so on. And I think that they all value that, and it certainly is illustrated or displayed in their attitude. They're all very friendly and they're very kind to all of us here who are visiting the islands on a regular basis. There's the town docks where we originally came in. The pink building is the Customs and Immigration Office. And all of these little taxis you can see, like that orange boat and all those boats, those are the taxis that come over from Eleuthera, from the main island. So obviously, we were, traveling like rock stars with this Tropic Ocean Airways charter on a seaplane. But a lot of people who just want to fly over here commercially, there's at least 3 or 4 major airlines that'll fly you right into Eleuthera, North Eleuthera. And from there, you can take a water taxi. It's about a 20 or a 25-minute ride. And they'll come over and drop you off right here at the city dock or at Valentine's. And I think that's kind of a normal procedure for a lot of people who want to travel over to Harbour Island. I think once you do a seaplane ride with Tropic Ocean, though, you're kind of spoiled. And, I think I'm going to want to do that again real soon. And back here at Valentines Marina, hanging out on Eileen's Way with our hosts and getting ready for the Ocean Alexander Rendezvous to begin with an afternoon cocktail happy hour. And it's now day 4 of our excellent adventure here in Harbour Island. And I started to have my sights on this Blackwater 43, thinking maybe there's a way we're going to get a boat ride sometime today. But yeah, I think that was wishful thinking because the captain and crew were, tied up on some other activities and no plans to take the boat out. But okay, so we got back on the golf carts and did some touring. And this time we decided we'd go to the Bryland Marina and Yacht Club. And remember, Bryland, well, that's what the locals here in Harbour Island refer to their island as. They call it Bryland. So this is the Bryland Yacht Club. And just your first glance is that it is first class in every way. It's the newest marina here on the lee side of the island, the west side of the island. You can see all floating dock marina, huge aluminum gangways going down to that floating pier. Beautiful structures here on the uplands. They've got a clubhouse and a restaurant and a dockmaster's office and a little ship store and boutique. Look at the size of the yachts here. I think that's a big Westport 130. They really are designed here to cater up to like 160, 180. I heard rumors of 200 feet. And that's the direction it's going with some of the big yachts and the cruising crowd around here in the Bahamas. So obviously very popular size is going to be 60 to 80, maybe even pushing 100. But these big mega yachts are just getting bigger and bigger all the time. And this Bryland Club is going to be first class. Just opened up recently and already starting to fill up. And we were very impressed with the overall construction of and the architecture of the yacht club. And they just did a beautiful job. So we decided we still had a lot of daytime left. We weren't going to be flying out until somewhere around 5 or 5:30. So the one part of the island that we hadn't really explored was this, what they call South Bar. It's a private end of the island. It's all private homes, luxury homes, and a lot of celebrities and very wealthy people stay out here, live out here, and have vacation rentals here. But we went anyway. Sign said don't go any further, but here we are going further. So really, we haven't left any part of this island untouched. So for those of you who think that you're going to come here and find something different, no, we showed it to you all. It's like it's the whole island. And there is I think that's the clubhouse for the South Bar Club and community. So the good news is we're actually leaving the property now before getting arrested. But once again, it was clear, very evident to us that the really high-end real estate is at the extreme north and or south ends of the island. And for those of you that are wanting to come to Harbour Island and do something really exclusive or nice, keep in mind a lot of these homes are on VRBO and vacation rentals and Airbnb. So you can really go from mild to wild and get a 5, 6, 7 bedroom estate home rented for the period of time that you're visiting. So there's a lot of variety. There's another restaurant called The Landings here that we went to one night. I forgot to tell you guys earlier, this was one of our big hits. We really enjoyed our visit here at this restaurant. It's very popular. I think that Mark and Eileen made the reservation here like more than 3 or 4 weeks earlier so that we could attend with a big group of, I think we had 10 or 12 for dinner that night. So just food for thought, guys. If you do want to come here with a big group, make sure you plan well in advance. And the other thing is the golf carts. Remember, you can only really get around the island on a golf cart. And while there appears to be thousands of golf carts on the island, which apparently there are certain rental agencies that have the good ones, the newer ones that are lifted and they're a little more modern and fancy. You need to find out who those companies are, and you need to reserve well in advance if you want to drive around in a nice cart. So obviously, if you're coming here to one of the marinas, you can do that through the dockmaster's office. Our plan for the FPC is to probably schedule an event here in next year in 2025 to visit one of the 3 marinas, probably Valentine's. One more time here on this tidal zone where the tide is out and we're able to walk around amongst the boats that are sitting on their own bottoms. It kind of looks like a bad poker run experience, right, guys? Yeah, we've all been there. No poker run boats around here today, guys, but certainly a destination that I think is worthwhile. From Nassau, it's about 55 to 60 miles, so it's even probably worthy as a day trip. If we got an early start from Atlantis, we could probably come here for the day. Or spend a day here and then, get back on the water by 4:30, 5 o'clock and make it back to Atlantis before nightfall. So something to think about. There's my panoramic shot of this beautiful beachscape, and there we are getting another shot. I got to say, guys, it's been a great visit here to Harbour Island. We're getting really close to wrapping things up here now, but I want to say that as a recon trip, I think that we discovered far more that we ever could have imagined, and very happy with the outcome of what now I consider to be one of my favorite islands in the Bahamas here. So looking forward to returning real soon. And we have one more item on our agenda today. Now, again, it's Friday. And again, we're part of the Ocean Alexander Rendezvous. One of the events on their agenda was to host a beachfront lunch, and it was really very well done. I mean, come on, guys, it's Ocean Alexander. They sell 100-foot yachts, so they're not going to give us some crappy little pretzels and beer on the beach, right? No, this was very well done. They had live entertainment, they had an open bar, and the weather was just fantastic as we gathered on the beach. And I'm not a beach person, and I know that a lot of the people that were with us are not really beach people. But Mark Fischer and I were saying, this is a beach we could hang out on all day. It wasn't terribly hot or terribly humid. We had these nice umbrellas to sit under, and we had servers bringing us over, fancy rum-flavored drinks and nice deli sandwiches. And look at what you got to play with. You got this beautiful water coming in, and look at that pink sand beach. God, it's just amazing. Well, guys, I guess you get the picture, right? I mean, I want to thank Ocean Alexander for hosting a wonderful yacht rendezvous. Some beautiful yachts in the marina. Not all Ocean Alexander, but just some beautiful scenery here. Mark and Eileen Fischer for hosting us here on Eileen's Way. And to all of our friends from Florida Powerboat Club who joined us for this exciting ride with Tropic Ocean Airways. And, of course, thanks to Tropic Ocean for really giving us the platform to be able to fly over here on their Cessna Caravan seaplane. I think that Valentines Marina is a destination that we need to pencil in for 2025. And guys, don't forget, Tropic Ocean Airways can get you here. Even if you come in your own boat and you got some people that want to join you on opposite days or different days and they're on a different agenda, or they just don't want to ride the boat across the Gulf Stream, they're providing us, a viable transportation alternative that is still very exciting and very efficient way to fly, because it'll get you right to your destination instantly. Now we're just getting ready to get back on the aircraft. We got a phone call from Lucas, our co-pilot, to let us know that the aircraft was in position, and there she is sitting there on her fortress anchor. Now, the only thing that we couldn't do was we couldn't use the Blackwater to bring us out. Captain Tony was happy to do it, but as you can see from the struts for the wings and just basically the positioning of the aircraft, there's no way you could put a big center console up alongside this without the T-top doing some serious damage to that wing. So that's why we used the small craft aboard. And here's what it looked like if you were on the dock. This is one of our fellow crew members from Eileen's Way getting a shot from the salon at happy hour as we departed shortly after 5 p.m. on that beautiful Friday, and the flight going back was, I want to say, as good. I think it was even better because our crew took us even lower. I think they flew between 5 and maybe 7,000 feet for a part of the flight, returning to Fort Lauderdale, which went directly over the Barry Islands again, and just over the northern tip of Bimini, between Bimini and Great Isaac Light. So we really got a chance to see a lot of the Bahamas on the trip back, and it was just beautiful. No better place than here than to thank Tropic Ocean Airways, and you can find them online at flytropic.com, or you can call their toll-free number at 800-767-0897. And remember, they really don't have any limitations on where they can fly because they are a private charter operation. Looks like everybody's had a wonderful flight as we just landed here in Fort Lauderdale. It was only about a 1 hour and 30-minute flight to get back, so it's I think it's about 7 p.m. now as we land. But once again, guys, if you're not sure what island you want to go to, check out Bahamas.com to help you decide which island you'd like to visit. Of course, if you're a Florida Powerboat Club member, we're going to make the decision for you, and we're going to get you to the best islands with 3 events this summer in June, July, and August. And for more information about those events, of course, you can visit the Florida Powerboat Club website at flpowerboat.com. Thanks again to Tropic Ocean Airways for making this adventure possible to Harbour Island in the Bahamas. Guys, we have plenty more exciting episodes featuring poker runs with the Florida Powerboat Club right here on our YouTube channel. Coming up soon is going to be the Key West Poker Run 2023 with several episodes and feature highlights. So you don't want to miss those episodes. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you'll get an update every time a new episode is released. Be sure to check out the website at flpowerboat.com for all of the details about upcoming poker run events as well as membership information. You can follow us on Facebook at Florida Powerboat Club, and you can follow us on Twitter and on these Instagram pages. Thanks to all of our viewers for your wonderful comments on our page, and you guys know who you are, and I really do appreciate that. But if you have questions or comments you want to direct to me specifically, please use my personal email at stu@flpowerboat.com. I check that daily, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We're going to sign off for now. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio. Have fun out there, guys. Be safe on the waterways. Wear your life jackets when the time is right, and always respect your fellow boaters. Bye for now.